AFC Bournemouth, surprisingly enough, play in the town of Bournemouth on the south coast of England. They currently play in the Championship or second tier of English football at Dean Court, which today is called Vitality Stadium, which holds 11,364 people. The name of Dean Court comes from 1910 when the Cooper Dean family gave land to the football club where the stadium is located. Bournemouth's badge has stayed relatively similar ever since the design was first made in 1972. The badge is a shield shape with a player heading a football with the words AFC Bournemouth written above. The player is actually based on Dickie Dowsett, a former striker of the club and commercial manager who was instrumental in the change of name and badge for the club at that time. There is no definitive evidence for an exact founding date for Bournemouth, however there is proof that it was formed in the autumn of 1899 out of the remains of the older Boscombe St John's Institute Football Club. The club was originally known as Boscombe Football Club, Boscombe being a district of Bournemouth. From 1910, when they were granted the land at Dean Court, they became a successful club at the local level, and to represent the growing club, by 1923 they changed their name to Boscombe and Bournemouth AFC. By this point they were in the 3rd division and would stay there until 1970. Bournemouth then went on a crazy ride after going into administration in 2008 and almost ceased to exist. They had gone down to League 2 and had to deal with a 17-point deduction for that season. And after a bad start, they hired Eddie Howe, a former player, to manage them through this crisis. He was only 31 at the time, making him the youngest manager in the Football League. In the 2008-9 season, though, he managed to save their Football League status after a 2-1 win over Grimsby guaranteed their safety. And what happened next was a fairy tale. Howe would lead the club to promotion the following year, but he'd then leave for the Burnley job. However, after he and the club spent 2 years apart, they would then be reunited, where he would lead them to the 2nd tier, and then after 1 year there, he would then lead them all the way to the top flight for the first time in their history in 2015. They'd stay there until 2020 when they were relegated and Howe left the club. And the club's greatest honour would almost certainly be winning the championship in 2015. The club play in red and black stripes with black shorts and black or red socks. Like many clubs, the colour they play in has given way for their nickname, the Cherries. Whilst this is the most likely reason for the nickname Cherries, with it starting around 1910, it has also been suggested this nickname is because the local businessman Cooper Dean's facility, which was located next to the stadium, had cherry trees in it. Bournemouth generally aren't close to too many other clubs of a similar size, and so the club's biggest rivals are probably fellow coastal teams Southampton, with others like Portsmouth and Brighton following behind. Bournemouth are potentially the smallest club to ever make it to the Premier League, given their extremely small stadium size compared to other sides in the league. This just goes to show what a miracle run it has been for them to go from the bottom of League 2 to the Premier League in the space of 6 years. And that was the quick history of AFC Bournemouth. Next up is AFC Wimbledon.